Okay, y'all. So my apologies. I am a little bit late today for 10-minute two-tip Tuesday. I had some technical difficulties, but here I am. I have finally made it. Welcome. I am Amelia Borland with Higher Standards Caregiver Training. And I am, despite the fact that I am late, I'm excited for this week's 10-minute two-tip Tuesday. It is the only 10-minute educational session that is as fun to say as it is to attend, and certainly as it is to do. So we're going to jump right in and get started because we only have 10 minutes. It's a very short amount of time to pack a lot of information in. Before I get started with the tips, though, as always, this is for educational purposes only. If you hear something today that reminds you of someone that you're caring for, a loved one, a friend, a family member, maybe even yourself, and it makes you think that they might require some intervention from a healthcare professional, then please make sure that you advocate for that, or that you go out and get help from that appropriate licensed healthcare professional, as this is for educational purposes only. That said, let's go ahead and get started here. So 2 tips today. The first one is all about caring for folks with Parkinson's. Caring for someone with Parkinson's can be incredibly challenging. Parkinson's disease is itself an incredibly challenging disease to live with. It affects literally every area of functioning of someone's life. And it has some really particular kinds of presentations because of how it originates, what it's caused by, the areas that it affects in the brain. That said, there are actually some really simple, I mean simple, but crazy powerful things that caregivers can do to make caring for someone with Parkinson's disease much safer, much easier, and overall a much more enjoyable experience for both the caregiver and of course the person being cared for themselves. And I want to share one of those super simple, I mean so simple, but just ridiculously powerful tips with you here for the first tip today. And that is to give time. We want to not rush. And that goes for both. We want to prevent the person with Parkinson's disease from feeling like they're rushed. So we as caregivers want to make sure that we are not putting social pressure on someone with Parkinson's to move more quickly. We also, though, want to make sure that the person with Parkinson's themselves isn't rushing, internally, that they themselves aren't rushing along. And the reason is when folks with Parkinson's disease feel pressure to move quickly, or they themselves are rushing through a task or an activity or a movement, it actually exacerbates the symptoms of their Parkinson's disease and can actually lead to them freezing, not being able to move. And then, of course, the task actually takes a lot longer to complete. And of course, it is much more difficult. It may certainly be a lot more difficult and dangerous for the caregiver and the person with Parkinson's to complete. So how do you do this? Well, certainly, if you're a caregiver or thinking from the caregiver's perspective, we want to make sure that we're just planning ahead. If there are specific tasks, activities, errands that need to be run, etc., just making sure that you're planning ahead with enough time to accomplish all of those tasks. Maybe not trying to accomplish everything at once or everything in one day. This is an easy way to help take that social pressure off the person with Parkinson's that you are caring for, and ultimately will actually help these tasks, activities, errands to go smoother and actually more quickly. On the other hand, as I said, we also want to make sure that folks with Parkinson's disease are not rushing to complete a task. So a lot of times when we rush to complete something, we're sort of thinking about the end goal. We're kind of thinking about all the steps at once. And that is something that can really trip up folks with Parkinson's disease. Again, it causes their symptoms to be worse. It can cause them to freeze. It makes them be at higher risk of falls. And it certainly makes it harder for a caregiver to assist them physically if that's necessary. So just simply making sure to let the person with Parkinson's know to take their time, to focus on one thing at a time. These are really simple, powerful ways to make that whole process go easier, smoother, actually faster, and certainly safer. Okay, so that's the first tip for today. The second tip for today, as always, is related to caregiving organizations. And this one is really for the leaders of caregiving organizations, for business owners. And this is something that has been so powerful for me, of course, as a business owner as well. And that is, now I know you're expecting me to like talk about a specific metric or a number or something like that, but I'm actually talking about a behavior that we can all foster in ourselves today. And that is to continuously seek out more education. I think that the benefits of this are twofold. Certainly, if you take the time, if you, and of course, as a leader and as a business owner, you kind of have an idea about maybe what's going well, what's not going well in your organization, things that you would like to improve on, maybe an operation that you would like to streamline, or a goal for growth that you would like to hit. And there is so much great education out there to solve all kinds of business problems, to help you arm yourself with the tools that you need to solve organizational and business problems. That could be it could be as simple as reading a book, listening to an audiobook. I'm a huge audiobook fan. I listen to them on 2 times speed so that I can get through more books faster. That's a great tip. Once you get used to it, you don't notice it's too fast. Attending conferences, going to networking groups with other professionals, masterminds, attending webinars. You know, there's so many educational opportunities out there for business leaders, business owners that are just really great opportunities to keep yourself learning, to keep yourself growing so that you can keep your organization, your business moving and growing as well. The other great part about continuing to consume lots of education is that it's just super motivating. Running a business is hard. Running an organization is hard. It is easy to kind of find yourself in a slump where you're not sure what to do, or you're just not feeling super motivated, or you know, you just kind of need a fire underneath you again. And consuming education, again, whether it's a webinar, a book, a conference, etc., is just a really great way to kind of put that fire underneath you, get you motivated, and get you moving in the direction that you want to go. Okay, so that's it. That's it for me today for a 10-minute 2-Tip Tuesday. If you are interested in education, certainly check out. I'm gonna drop a post in my feed right after this as a link to my free educational webinar. It's literally all about the power of education in caregiving organizations. We're going to go over some super valuable content and skills there, and I'm really excited to share it with you. That's going to be on September 1st at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. So again, if you want to register for that, it's totally no cost educational webinar event, and I'll be dropping that registration link into my feed as soon as I log off here. So with that, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for all of you who watched this, for all of you who might watch this later. It's absolutely my pleasure to deliver this high value content to y'all in a way that is easy to access and to absorb. So reach out if you need anything. And other than that, I will see you next Tuesday at 3 sharp, I promise, at 3 p.m. Central Time. Until then, take care. Bye, guys.